Just back from the Munich conference. On the Cuba point, no oil from Venezuela, Marco Rubio in negotiations. What's next?
Yeah, well, there's so much to say on this topic. I don't think that Venezuela was only about Cuba. It was also about the president saying, look, I'm doing something about drugs. Now, he's doing something about cocaine. He's not doing anything about fentanyl, which is, you know, the drug that kills most Americans. But Cuba is a nice byproduct. And you know, Marco Rubio is ascendant in the administration. Marco Rubio is a Miami born and bred, second-generation Cuban American. So if you're Marco Rubio, you say, oh my gosh, look at what we just did. We took down a really bad communist in Caracas, and we could do this in Cuba. The problem is that this is all performative stuff, right? There's no regime change in Venezuela. Yeah. Regime change is complicated. Regime change means you put a lot of guys with guns on the ground and some of them get killed. And so as in Cuba and as in Iran, could we break a lot of things? Absolutely. Absolutely. The military is second to none. But, you know, what do you actually change? We're negotiating with somebody in Venezuela who is the number two. You know, the Maduro, the Chavista communist regime is still in place. It's just scared and therefore willing to negotiate with the Trump administration.
For now.
For now.
Who knows what happens next. Iran, Donald Trump is saber-rattling, to put it mildly. It looks like Donald Trump could be launching his own war with Iran by the weekend.
Yeah, again, we need to really zone in on what we're talking about here, right? You know, we will soon have 2 aircraft carriers in the region. That's an immense amount of combat power. We could break a lot of things. We could sink the entire Iranian Navy. We could blow up lots of stuff. But is that going to change the regime? Remember, the regime in Iran, just as in the regime in Cuba and the regime in Venezuela, is comprised of a lot of guys with a whole lot of guns, probably a whole lot of Swiss bank accounts, and a whole lot of interest in not being tried by the next regime. So, you know, both Cuba and Iran right now are quote unquote talking, right? Of course they're talking, right? We got aircraft carriers. The question is there going to be a fundamental change? I would argue that the only way you're making fundamental change is with troops on the ground, which means troops getting killed, unfortunately, as we saw in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I'm not sure Trump's going to go there.
What would be the invoked legal justification for an attack on Iran?
Oh, I mean, how quaint, Lawrence, right? You know, look, it's a politically complicated thing. Maduro was a very, very bad guy, right? And so if you're me and you say, hey, our Constitution says that we ought to be consulted and maybe approve military action, or, you know, this is obviously a violation of the UN Charter, the Trump administration says, well, we took out a very bad guy. And not only do half of Americans agree with that, but actually a fair number of regimes and others in Latin America say, yeah. So, you know, if we're talking about legality here, that horse left the barn long ago.
And Congress would have no ability, certainly Republican-controlled Congress would take no steps whatsoever to try to control this.
Yeah, there is no Congress. I mean, there is no Congress. What Congress? You know, what's interesting about
I don't normally feel naive on this show. That's not my thing here. But here we are.
Now, look, in defense of American politics, you're starting to see a return of the Congress, right? When we, in the House, voted against tariffs against Canada, we actually got 7 Republicans. When we voted to maintain the Affordable Care Act subsidies, we got a bunch of Republicans. So you're starting to see, as the president loses political popularity, you're starting to see a few Republicans, a few of them, just raise their hands and say, well, maybe I'm a little uncomfortable. But we're a long way from Congress finally saying the Constitution to which we take an oath demands our approval for military action. We are a long way from that. And I don't say that with any joy.
And in terms of distraction from the Epstein files, a couple of aircraft carriers launching attacks on Iran will do the job for Donald Trump for at least a weekend.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. And I mean, it's not a single thing, right? You know, it's one of the byproducts of Venezuela is that Cuba feels squeezed. By the way, we haven't talked about this. One of the possible outcomes in Cuba is a devastating humanitarian situation.
Yes.
Don't think that no resources getting in is a unadulterated good thing. There could be Cubans starving. There could be a humanitarian crisis. And that complicates the calculus.
Yeah, and life is rough in Cuba before any of this.
Exactly.
Already. Congressman Jim Himes, thank you very much for joining us.